Hello, this is Eastern Europe Review, a joint production of BELSAT and TVP World with reports and analysis from Ukraine, Belarus and Russia. My name is Alexandra Shapalina and these are the main stories.
Turn off the camera. Stop recording.
Sanctions prove ineffective. Polish company supports Lukashenkaregime in European trade.
Even if this shell company is banned, they'll create a new one. It's an endless game.
Tragedy by mistake. Russia shoots down passenger plane, sparking fury from Kremlin ally.
The only thing was the explosion, and then the masks started to fall out.
Bittersweet celebration. Displaced Ukrainian children mark Christmas and New Year.
The strike on our house killed my mother. And who are you with? With my grandmother.
The products of the Belarusian company BELSAT, which has been under European Union sanctions since 2021, are still being sold in Europe. A joint investigation by BELSAT, the Belpol Initiative, and the Polish newspaper Gazeta Wyborcza reveals how Belarusian dump trucks are assembled in Poland using Belarusian parts and sold under a new brand, circumventing EU restrictions.
The Belarusian manufacturer of mining dump trucks, BELSAT, has been on the sanctions list of the European Union and the United States since 2021. However, an investigation by BELSAT TV, the Belpol Initiative, and the Polish newspaper Gazeta Wyborcza has uncovered that BELSAT trucks are still being sold in European countries.
Here's a photo of one such truck. Apart from a few stickers and the nameplate Kronos replacing BELSAT, there's no visible difference.
The investigation has revealed that the resale of Belarusian vehicles under a new brand is handled by a Polish company, Polmark, based in Kielce in southern Poland. On the company's premises, journalists discovered dozens of dump trucks imported from Belarus.
This company has been working with BELSAT for more than 30 years. Their cooperation began in the 1990s. As sources told us off the record, geopolitics and market dynamics may change, but they've maintained their partnership with the Belarusian company over the years.
Attempts to interview Polmark's management were unsuccessful. The company's vice president declined to answer any questions.
Turn off the camera. Stop recording.
Nonetheless, BELSAT managed to expose the method used to evade sanctions through official documents. In 2022, a year after BELSAT was sanctioned by the EU, a representative of Polmark registered a Belarus-based shell company, Euromark Komplekt. This intermediary purchases BELSAT dump trucks in a disassembled form and ships the parts to Poland.
When these shipments arrive at the border, we've documented what they look like. Large parts that fill an entire truck trailer. Polish customs officials review the paperwork, see the name Euromark, and check their database. Since this company isn't on the sanctions list, the parts cross the border without any issue.
Once in Kielce, the imported parts are reassembled into dump trucks, fitted with European engines that meet environmental standards, and labeled with a new name, Kronos, instead of BELSAT. These rebranded trucks are then sold across the EU without restrictions.
Even if this shell company is banned, they'll create a new one. It's an endless game. To stop this, sectoral sanctions must be imposed. They're more effective and far-reaching than targeted sanctions on individual companies.
Polmark officially denies any collaboration with BELSAT. During an interview, Mateusz Żukowski, a Polmark shareholder, has denied any links to the sanctioned company and the shell entity Euromark.
There are no financial or personal connections between us and them. Euromark is owned by a Belarusian. We collaborate, we communicate, and that's all.
However, documents contradict these claims. Investigative journalists uncovered correspondence showing direct communication between Polmark and BELSAT management after sanctions were imposed. In one instance, Polmark's director requested commercial offers for supplying dump trucks. In 2023, BELSAT even organized a visit for Polmark executives to its sanctioned facilities in Belarus.
An Azerbaijani plane that crashed near the Kazakh city of Aktau was most likely shot down by a Russian air defense missile. However, Russian state media have published an initial version of events citing a bird strike, while Russian officials have sought to avoid the topic following the tragedy.
The Azerbaijan Airlines plane that crashed in Kazakhstan was shot down by a Russian air defense system. 4 sources in Azerbaijan familiar with the investigation shared this information with Reuters. 38 people were killed and 29 survived. Passengers sitting at the back of the cabin managed to escape. Footage from the first moments after the crash has been circulating on social media. It's unbelievable, but some passengers walked away with just a fright after the monstrous fall. This man was on board and thanked God for saving him. As the plane was falling, the man was also filming a video inside the cabin, and this footage provided a unique opportunity to understand what truly happened to the crashed plane. Initially, Russian state media presented the first preliminary version, suggesting a collision with a flock of birds.
It felt as though there was some kind of explosion, but from the conversations I understood that the bird had gotten into the engine. There was no fire, nothing. The only thing was the explosion, and then the masks started to fall out, one after another, as if they were exploding. It became really scary. Then the plane started to spin.
This version seems implausible to aviation experts.
Usually, if a bird hits a glass surface, the surface cracks. If it hits metal, the metal bends. But under no circumstances does a bird get inside the cabin. In the case of a bird strike, they typically try to land the plane immediately.
Images of the crashed plane reveal multiple punctures in the fuselage, both underneath and on the sides. Footage taken during the flight shows damage to the altitude control element on the wing. The cabin appears to be riddled with bullets or shrapnel. A life jacket is punctured and traces of blood are visible near one of the passengers. Such damage is typical of shelling.
Judging by the damage, it is unlikely to be a missile from the S-300 or S-400 system, but it could very well be a striking element from either a Buk, Tor, or Pantsir surface-to-air missile system. In the heat of the moment, and in the absence of experience, the system operators may fail to distinguish the type of target.
It is noteworthy that at the time of the tragedy, the secretary of the Chechen Security Council posted on social media that objects were being shot down in the sky. At that time, the Chechen authorities were anticipating a drone attack on the region. The rescue of some of the passengers can be considered a true miracle, as experts believe they had little chance of survival.
This plane, an Embraer, is fragile. I've flown on these planes before. These planes are designed for beautiful Western airports with smooth paved runways.
At the same time, the Russian authorities have tried to remain silent and completely ignored the topic of the air crash. State media has not reported on the main cause of the tragedy, the activity of Russian air defense.
It'd be wrong to come up with any hypotheses until the investigation's findings are released.
However, Russian military bloggers are not bound by silence, and even they cannot find arguments to deny Russia's guilt. Nevertheless, they are confident that no one will be held accountable for this tragedy.
Basically, it's already become clear to everyone that it was the Chechens who shot down the plane. but I'm sure the Chechens will manage to avoid responsibility, and no one will be held accountable.
Meanwhile, Azerbaijani MP Rasim Musabekov stated that Russia shot down the Azerbaijan Airlines plane. The MP called on the Kremlin to apologize for the incident, warning that otherwise relations between Moscow and Baku will take another turn. The Kremlin acknowledged the statement but declined to comment on it.
35 children are living with their parents in a modular town for displaced people from the Kherson region. Some have lost their homes destroyed by shelling, while others have fled villages, now under threat from Russian drones. Volunteers have arrived to bring the holiday spirit to those enduring the hardships of war.
Christmas trees, garlands, ornaments, songs, games, and a round dance. The characters of New Year holidays, Santa Claus and the Snow Maiden, have arrived to celebrate with the stars of the festive season. Children living in modular homes for displaced people from the Kherson region.
Good afternoon, children. How are you, my dears?
For 10-year-old Andriy from the village of Antonovka, just 1 kilometer from the temporarily occupied left bank of the Kherson region, this is the first Christmas holiday without his mother.
The strike on our house killed my mother. And who are you with? With my grandmother.
The boy takes us to meet his grandmother Natalia. They have been living in the modular community since June 2024.
We buried her without legs. This is Andrei's mother.
How old was she?
36. She was outdoors, then went into the room to rest in the afternoon. That's when the missile hit the house.
The grandmother and grandson are living in a separate room. Natalia happily recalls the liberation of Antonovka and the entire right bank of the Kherson region.
When our soldiers arrived, it was such a great feeling. The war hasn't ended, but everyone here is like family. There are no Russians here. And when they were leaving, they were running away. There was a lot of smoke in Antonovka, and it smelled like diesel as they crossed the bridge.
10-year-old Andriy is currently in 5th grade at an online school and dreams of becoming a programmer. For now, however, the grandmother and grandson are living on full welfare in a modular city. Natalia says she is waiting for the most important holiday.
There'll be a holiday when there's victory. It'll be the best holiday.
The modular houses in the Kherson region were fully commissioned in September 2024. More than 100 people are now living there, including 35 minors aged between 1 and 16. Tatiana Bogach, from the village of Kamyshany on the right bank of the Kherson region, has 5 children. The whole family is living together in a modular city. Volunteers brought everyone here after Tatiana was injured while covering little Vitya.
My neighbor and I wanted to go to the village, Hetman, to get medicine. The pharmacies weren't working and there was no place to get medicine. While we were having coffee, they shot down a missile and the sharpener hit us. His mother was covering him. The sharpener was sticking out of his mum's arm, her shoulder and hair.
And where were you wounded? Just here. How many pieces? 5.
Both children and adults love Christmas and the New Year. That is why the visit of New Year's fairy tale characters brings great joy to the residents, says Olga Nedoryzhyuk, the head of the town. In addition to Christmas and New Year, the people here are looking forward to another holiday. One of the women from the temporarily occupied left bank is pregnant.
Here we're about to have a baby. It'll be ours.
This is Irina's 5th pregnancy. She says she will make her biggest wish on Christmas Day.
To return home, only home, east or west, home is best.
That's all for today. Thank you for watching Eastern Europe Review. It was a pleasure bringing you the most interesting stories from the region. I'm Alexandra Shapalina. I wish you a happy new year and look forward to seeing you in 2025.